Hey everyone, welcome to Myopia Movies. We continue our barely Bond-based summer rewind with another episode of the old mission briefing, Johnny English, the Mr. Bean-based Rowan Atkinson product, which is better than Spy Hard, but in the same vein as Spy Hard. So please enjoy another episode hosted by John Copsey. Thanks for doing all you do, and just over the horizon, just over there, is season 11. Thanks, everyone.
Hello and welcome to Mission Briefing, your all things James Bond myopia related. This is your host, John, and today we're going to talk about Johnny English. With me on panel today are...
Nick Hoppin, host of Myopia and Riffer on Cineprov.
Nord Jeanette, I'm often come here, and I do love chicken wings.
Hello, this is Daniel, a contributor to popdose.com, and I don't know why John's looking at me so offended. It's just a little bit of poo.
Just a little bit, but I can smell it from here, so thank you.
There's a lot of shit jokes in this.
This movie is one giant joke, and I mean, it's enjoyable. It is really enjoyable. I've never seen it before now. Had any of you seen it before?
I saw it in theaters back in the day.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yep.
What did you think about it? Do you remember?
At the time when I saw it, I remember liking it because, it was kind of refreshing because Rowan Atkinson was a big comedy superstar over in Europe who never quite migrated over to the U.S., except in The Lion King, but...
Well, he was Mr. Bean, wasn't he?
Yeah, but that was never a thing in the
Wait,
U.S.
He was in Lion King?
He was
the original
Zazu.
Zazu.
The bird.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
I totally forgot my childhood. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and I mean, he had a good career as Mr. Bean, where he never talks. And this movie is basically Mr. Bean, the secret agent.
True.
Well, he was in a better show called Blackadder,
Yes.
which I was introduced to as an adult, and my God, that is so much better than Mr. Bean.
No, I will
This
say.
is the Rage Show with Daniel.
I know, right? He's all on it. Yeah.
No, I will say this with
Get
this
this man
movie.
some food.
With this movie, I laughed, I cried when I watched it back in the day, and I watched it again here recently, and it still holds up. It may be a mess and things, but I really love this movie.
Surprisingly solid. And you look at the cast and you look at the crew, the guys who wrote it, the guys who made it. Like, this is a Purvis and Wade movie, and they wrote 6 of the James Bond films, like between Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig.
They're
They
still
wrote
writing
a
them,
bunch
aren't
of them.
they?
I think they are.
I don't know to what extent. Usually it's like punch-up scripts now, but like this
I want to say
movie.
that the music was from the same guy who did GoldenEye.
It sounds like it.
This just feels like a James Bond movie.
That's right.
Oh, for sure. Except they just don't have the actual James Bond.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
They get close with Rowan Atkinson, but
So they actually had the same writers and producers and all that kind of stuff for all the James Bond movies. So that's
Well,
that-
no,
that's-
not
I mean,
normally.
not
Not normally.
quite.
No.
So they wrote The World Is Not Enough, Die Another Day, Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Inspector, and now No Time to Die. Though they have story credit and kind of screenplay credit. So that means is that they pitched a story, wrote a draft, and then it got cut to hell. Like any number of these billion-dollar movies are.
Or they just edited someone else's draft.
Didn't Paul Haggis, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right,
No,
but
that's right.
didn't he co-write Casino Royale?
That's the idea. And Casino Royale is a script that had floated around for a long time.
Yeah.
But, by the time you get to Pierce, they had gotten so silly that, because Casino Royale is a gritty, halfway to body horror movie.
Well, you talking about the original? So wasn't there original Casino Royale and the
Yes,
one that
right. Which is
they
very
redid?
The Allen one, yeah, it's
Okay.
very
which we
silly.
did earlier this season, which is,
Yeah.
don't watch it.
Oh my God, it's bad.
Alan's in that, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's
Ew.
the villain, and each segment
Actually, everyone's in it, and that's what the problem is. Like,
Ah,
Orson Welles was in it.
Peter Sellers is
Peter
in it.
Sellers.
Oh, the
Orson
popcorn
Welles?
guy?
Orson Welles, yeah.
He
popcorn
plays,
guy.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Lashif?
He's the chief.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's bad. I'm
Oh,
surprised you haven't
God.
seen
And
it.
this was in the 60s, so this wasn't like cool
And it was
Orson Welles.
David
This was...
Niven. And
David Niven is the guy.
I want to say Ursula Andress was in it as well.
She is as well. And there's 3 different directors because when they moved from like one side of the ocean to the other, they would just hire another director rather than move the production. And then eventually Peter Sellers was just like, I'm done, so they kill him off.
And he just disappears for the third act.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's why they had 3 directors, because Peter Sellers was in the movie.
But then, beyond that, like, apparently because they were dealing with so many big-name actors like Orson Welles, they let those actors do whatever they wanted. So Orson Welles said, I can do magic tricks. Let's put magic tricks in this scene.
So it's like
That's what they do.
It's like a 93-minute movie, and there's like 7 minutes of close-up card trick magic.
I'm just trying to understand how Orson Welles was an actor. I thought he was just a popcorn guy.
If you want to see him be talented, do watch Citizen Kane, because he's very good in Citizen Kane.
He's a citizen.
It's that Orson
him.
Welles.
Directed and starred in it.
That was him.
Yes.
What am I?
And it was blacklisted because it was making fun of a real person.
Hold up. So is the movie industry rigged because there's popcorn at movie theaters? Orson Welles was a director.
Well, here's how Hollywood treated Orson Welles. They looked at him as like, sir, if you just calm down, I'd be happy to treat you with a garbage bag full of popcorn.
But then he ate all that popcorn and gained power from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this movie...
Not nearly as bad as the original Casino Royale, but it's still funny.
Although it reminds me of the original Casino Royale.
It reminds me more of Spy Hard.
Yes.
The Leslie Nielsen
Yeah.
movie.
Well, and we'll get into it.
Because it is parody, but it's not really parody. It's just a funny James Bond.
And I mean, I was talking to my wife about why I hadn't seen this, because it seems right down my wheel, or right down my alley, whatever.
In your wheelhouse?
In my wheelhouse, any metaphor. Pick an actual metaphor, and it's better than what I said. But like, it might have just been fatigue, because this is a couple years after the last Austin Powers. This is after Spy Hard, which burned my ass, right? Because Spy Hard is...
It's a bad movie.
It's bad, but I will say Weird Al is a cold open. Boost.
Well, those movies, they knew they were bad. I feel like this movie was a good movie, but without the proper protagonist, which is hilarious to me.
Well,
Yeah.
and I will say, I have no problem with this movie, but I think that's why I skipped it. Like, after Goldmember, which is not good, except for the parody where they make a Goldmember movie at the end with Danny DeVito as Mini-Me and Tom Cruise. Like, that's funny.
Kevin Spacey was Dr. Evil, fittingly.
Right.
John Travolta as Goldmember, if I recall correctly.
That's true.
That bit's funny. The rest of the movie's a mess, but by that point, I was just like, can I just have a Bond movie again?
Well,
You
that's-
didn't like the rap break in the prison where they're in Georgia and the hard life? Come on.
Oh, God.
Well, that's
I
why
forgot
this
about
movie
that.
doesn't work, because
I
we
need
already
a breath.
had
I need a moment.
an effective spy spoof multiple times. First, it was Austin Powers, which, again, Goldmember isn't great, but it at least exists. And then on the heels of that, Johnny English comes out. And it comes out on the heels of Die Another Day, which also wasn't that great and kind of played like a Bond parody anyway.
Well, that's
What's
where
the
I
point?
think this movie either works or doesn't work, because the actual tentpole Bond movies got so silly.
Yeah.
The line between that and this movie, which is essentially the same movie, just a different actor,
Sure.
they blur.
I will say this movie probably works better now than it did in 2003 because Bond is so grim and dark, and like he makes it out like in a cast and a neck brace, and he's bleeding and he's dirty. Like this, when he gets dirty, he gets literally shit upon, as though he knows what the critics are going to say.
And the only blood that comes from this movie is from a ketchup bottle.
That's right.
That we know is a ketchup bottle.
I do want to say, I don't think Bond would have ever pulled the Archbishop of Canterbury's pants down.
Oh, scene,
dude.
Oh, that was ass.
Dude, you said
That is the
Spy Hard?
only-
That is a joke from the second Naked Gun movie where there's a dude with a beauty mark on his ass and he's trying to prove that the guy is a fake. Do you remember this? Right? This is the one where they're selling alternative.
I
And at
forgot
one point,
about
Leslie
it.
Nielsen has like a buffer for a car and he's trying to prove that it's a fake birthmark. Dude, this movie steals a Naked Gun joke, and that's something.
That's what's up.
That is a stretch.
Which I believe, looking at the IMDb, that was one of the criticisms of this.
Oh yeah,
That,
sure.
Like
They showed
stealing,
ass?
stealing the crown jewels, and the general plot and some of the jokes are very Naked Gun. Like they lifted them up from Naked Gun, which whatever. But we haven't gone over the plot yet.
I
Daniel,
just thought it was funny that
you can do it.
I'll do it.
I just thought it was funny that we had John Malkovich in this movie playing a jewel thief.
He was
That's
good.
Hardy har har.
Hardy
Hold on,
har.
that's the before we get into the plot. That's the one thing I did. Okay, I like John Malkovich.
Yeah.
But his accent was a little
rough.
Yes.
rough.
Dude, hire a German guy. I mean, again, if you made this now, it'd be Christoph Waltz, and then you have your
It's
foreigner.
supposed to be French.
Well, who cares? You can make it a German guy instead, but just have a real person with a real accent because this is Yosemite Sam. Yeah. This is a cartoon like
I saw that Malkovich, I guess in his earlier years, was a theater.
He was founder of the Steppenwolf Theater Company.
Yeah, and he performed in south of France for several years, so he knew French. That doesn't mean he spoke French well.
That's fair. And I mean, I came across him first as a theater actor too. But this is a wow. This is a tune it down French accent.
Take off the plot, Nick.
So, cold open, we're introduced to Johnny English being mediocre at his job, but essentially a paper pusher. Trying to help their star Bond-esque agent, whose name number 1 or something like that.
Agent 1.
Agent 1. And, you technically start with a weird fantasy sequence that he's having behind his desk, so there you go, Mr. Bean, masturbating. But after he gives him the wrong code to the submarine or whatever, and he dies...
I checked them myself, sir.
Yeah. They go to a funeral for the most secret agents, and... Bean is in charge, Johnny English is in charge of security, fucks it up, and they all die in an explosion.
Hilarious.
Which leaves him the only, 00 agent left. And we are smash cut to a guy named Victor Savage.
Yes.
Okay,
that's
Victor Savage,
Malkovich's
played by
character.
Malkovich, has refinished, polished the crown jewels, okay? And there's a big gala to celebrate the refinished crown jewels. Everyone's there. The Queen is there. Johnny English is supposed to be running security there. And then the crown jewels go missing. Hilarity sort of ensues. But the whole idea is that Savage is going to be crowned king because 200 years ago the family line diverged. And instead of having the Tudors or the Windsors in charge... It was going to be his chunk of the family, so they forced the Queen to abdicate so he could be crowned king. Now...
Wouldn't he be German then instead of French?
The French were always part of
They were always intermarried.
in the mix.
I know about the 100 Years' War. That was what that was all about.
And then ultimately the idea is that he's going to sell off the island of Great Britain, specifically the main island here, to make it a prison colony like it's a George Carlin bit from the 90s.
Oh, God. All right, I'm going to interrupt you here,
That's
Nick.
it. That's the plot.
That is the
Johnny English
plot,
has
yeah.
to stop it.
He basically wants to have his own Fire Fest.
Except, basically...
No one can leave.
Basically...
Just a bologna sandwich. A microwaved, fish sandwich somewhere. Just
You get a salad in a styrofoam container. That's what you get.
Mm-hmm.
And cheese. But anyway... John Malkovich is just way overestimating the power the Queen has at this point.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the fact that everyone just rolls over because the Queen signed away, she resigned. And it was just like, well, okay, I guess you're the next king.
First of all, the way she gave her rights away.
And then disappeared?
It just disappears. First of all, who pulls up into the palace like that, or whatever they live in, and threatens her corgi? Just like that. There's no security?
Yeah, no security.
Wait. The palace they live in or whatever.
Dude, I did. First of all, great joke. Second of all, I just imagine her eating a pulled corgi sandwich at that very moment. One is wondering what you intend to do with it.
Why do you think I keep them around? They're
That was
tasty.
actually one of the funniest moments in the movie where they threaten one of her corgis by
And she's
lifting him up and putting a gun to its head, and that's
By the way,
how she abdicates.
There's some good actors and actresses in there. The proxy that they had for Prince Philip with the gun to his head looked exactly like Prince Philip. That guy nailed it.
Oh, yeah.
In the UK, I assume it's a job to be a royal impersonator.
Probably.
Yeah. It's like that dude from Hot Shots who was just like the Saddam Hussein impersonator. I mean, he's out of work now.
He's got one role, yeah.
That's right.
I imagine a Queen Elizabeth impersonator, some more like that old woman in SpongeBob.
I remember when they first invented chocolate. Sweet, sweet chocolates. I always hated it.
They had a reality show where they got on Fox a while back, where they got a Prince Harry impersonator.
Oh, I do remember that.
And
Yes.
it was kind of like a Bachelor type
Yeah.
deal, and they were like, "Oh my God, that's Prince Harry," but it wasn't Prince
It's
Harry.
probably
But
the Prince.
everyone they thought it was Prince Harry. It was like a Joe Millionaire type deal. Where they got fucked at the end because it wasn't.
Are you really still in love with me? I'm not the prince. I hate you.
Now,
That's every one of those shows.
Who saw that happening? I don't know.
Britain's Next Top Royal.
Yeah,
obviously, nobody on that show would have won because they're not related to Prince Harry.
That's right.
And that's how royal families
That's how it
work.
works.
Speaking
There's
of
a line
royal
of
families,
succession.
they ain't no black people in this movie. I noticed.
No kidding.
No.
Yeah, no, absolutely
the,
not.
The second, there is a sequel to this that got the future Academy Award winner Daniel Day-Lewis, guy from Get Out,
Yes.
as his kind of like sidekick from this. But yeah.
But like, there's not even a random like black guy in MI5.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I almost said African American, but I realized that's wrong because it's Britain.
Yeah.
First and foremost, it's MI7, not MI5.
Who's MI5?
Bond.
No,
MI6 is
Mission
Bond.
Impossible.
No, MI5 is real military intelligence. MI6 is their secret intelligence. MI7 is a cartoon character. They
What's
made up
1
for
through
this.
4?
M is the designation for military branch.
Got you.
I was just going to say, in terms of stunt casting, this movie, as the Bond girl, has the woman who sang "Torn"
Which
back
is
in the
a cover.
90s.
What?
That's a cover
Natalie
song.
Imbruglia.
Natalie Imbruglia.
Yes.
Huh.
I'm actually shocked that they didn't get any of the. I don't even know what you'd call this, but like I'm thinking like the Guy Ritchie group. Like, how was a heavy not like? God, I don't know. Like Vinnie Jones wasn't in this. How's like Jason Statham not
They
in
just
this
couldn't
movie?
afford it, probably.
The guy who played Tyrone in Snatch, how is he not in this?
Well, I mean, especially since
Right?
but like Savage has these heavies and they look like characters out of a Guy Ritchie movie. Like I was just like, it's 2003. Like you could have gotten Vinnie Jones. Like make them anyone. There's no one in this movie other than Mr. Bean and because you made the joke about Natalie Imbruglia, but like she's not an act and she is acting so hard in it. Like you can tell she's like pulling something.
This was her first film.
No shit.
Yeah.
Mr. Creedy from V for Vendetta is also in this movie as the M stand-in.
That's fine.
But
Oh, is that him?
yeah,
Oh, snap. Yeah, it is.
Wow.
but I mean,
First of all, I'm just thinking, we did, for the last one of these, we did the Avengers. He is such a better... Well, the M. Stand-in is a great actor, right?
In the Avengers?
Jim Broadbent, right?
Yeah, I would put Jim Broadbent
Oh,
in
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
He's
Sorry, I was
better...
thinking Marvel's Avengers. You're
I
right.
know,
The
they're
main
forgetting
movie-
And
Sean
Jim Broadbent,
Connery.
and he's better than any movie he's in.
Yes.
I would take this movie every day of the week. I looked at your face and I was like, you made me watch the Avengers. Like I just like had a shudder. And there's a scene where they're all dressed up like Beanie Babies, and I'm just like, oh god.
You forget, I had to watch this in the cinema.
cinema.
That was a bad idea.
Back in the
Oh
day?
boy.
No,
For
the
the
Avengers.
I saw the Avengers in theater too.
I saw Avengers in the cinema as well.
Yeah, it was bad.
I was a big Uma Thurman fan.
I still am. But she didn't save this movie.
That's right.
Neither did Ray
Sean
Fiennes.
Connery.
Well,
No,
you know
Sean
what?
Connery, Ray Fiennes. No,
Why
none.
not let
Eddie
Guy?
Izzard? None of them saved it.
Why not let Guy Ritchie direct this movie? I mean, he's obviously got this style where it would be his own thing, but it would also be, a Bond thing.
They probably-
He's got the cast around. He's got... Even if he had Rowan Atkinson, it would have worked.
So just talking out loud, but Guy Ritchie's Sherlock Holmes, that's an episode, right? The one with
That would have been
RDJ.
so much better than
Yeah.
Johnny English.
Well, if he's... Okay,
Do Johnny English like that.
so I think the tagline of this movie was like James Bond's little brother. And usually when they say that, they kind of... I don't know if they don't want to do that. It was the same way when Will Ferrell wanted to do Sherlock Holmes. People just laughed at him.
Yeah.
And the movie ended up being really, really bad. But I'm just saying, like, if you have Mr. Beans attached to it, they're like, not for real. Is he going to talk the whole time?
Now, Nor, I may have misheard you, but it sounded like you said James Brown's little brother.
James
And
Bond.
I would totally watch a movie
Nah, I
about
would watch that too.
The
I would watch
littlest
that
James
too.
Brown.
Yeah.
Dude, if James Brown had a mini-me, they were dancing on stage like Joe
that would be
C.
so
Oh, yeah.
much
That'd be
fun.
nice.
That'd be
James,
nice.
it's your cousin Marvin. Marvin Brown.
But no.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can get into this. I thought this movie, I don't know about you guys, but one of those piles of movies that I have are comedies.
Yeah.
I have a shitty day, I want to just toss on something for 20 minutes. This kind of falls into that genre. Like, it's not a movie that you watch for the plot, you watch for the joke-em-ups. And this
Yeah.
is Rowan Atkinson. Like,
yeah.
like I was just thinking about this. Like, if you put anyone else in this movie, there's no movie here. The plot is stupid. It's nonsense, and he is. It's one of those things that in comedy frustrates the hell out of me because, like, even Frank Drebin in Naked Gun always catches the man at the end of this scene, right? Like, there's that great scene where there's the guy who looks like Gallagher who's trying to stab Priscilla Presley in the shower, and they're fighting, and then he ends up blowing him up with the water hose. But, like, that's how the scene ends. In this movie, Rowan Atkinson never gets it right until the very last scene when he's accidentally crowned a king.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We need to go over individual scenes in this movie because this entire thing is like Johnny English fucking up, quite honestly, and then trying to cover it up. Like,
Which is like a real James Bond movie. He just kind of stumbles upon a plot, only this is more explicit.
He doesn't stumble upon a plot. He, like, deliberately creates the plot and then tries to cover it up. Like, after the scene with the crown jewels being stolen, he accidentally hits, like, one of the colonels or one of the higher-ups.
guards,
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, it was one of these salients. He ran into this room, I'll go get him. And then there's that slapstick bit where he's, like, pretending to take that person down. It's obviously
Now,
he's
describe the person that he said attacked him.
if I recall correctly...
Did you see the end scene?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
He actually was there.
Okay, like during the credits?
No.
Oh,
It was an end credit scene,
yeah, I remember
So
now.
describe this guy.
He is
Scars?
missing. He's missing most of his teeth. He's got scars that meet down the middle to his chin. I believe he has an eye patch.
And
Fiery
massive
red
fiery
hair.
red hair.
Although, to be fair, which I'm sure we'll do this movie at some point, Wrongfully Accused, another Leslie Nielsen classic.
Oh, God help me, yes.
That scene where he's like drawing on the wanted poster for himself and like draws that guy who's got 2 teeth and like
A
Frank
bad
Zappa hair.
mustache and, like, weird googly eye glasses.
That's what he looks like.
I will
Yeah.
defend this movie. How many things we take from the British, anyways? How come they can't take from the U.S.?
First of all, they're taking all of our best superhero jobs because they're
That's true.
all English.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
That is true. That is true. That is true.
But no, you're totally right. Like, and again, if you're gonna rip off movies, Leslie Nielsen gets his due. You know what? Like, I love them Naked Gun movies. Wrongfully Accused, but it's still like, it's not his fault at that point. He's doing his Leslie Nielsen thing, and old man's
Wait.
got to get paid.
Did you just shit on Wrongfully Accused?
I don't think it's one of his best.
Sir, them's fighting words.
Daniel's just challenging all of us to a duel to the death.
I know, right?
Yeah, he's just eager for a duel.
I've got a glove.
Okay, asshole.
I've got a glove in my back pocket, and I'm not afraid to use it.
So what's your least favorite Leslie Nielsen? That's his comedy. Like, I mean, some of his old sci-fi stuff is garbage, but
2001: A Space Travesty.
that's terrible. That's
Yeah,
bad.
okay, that's a good choice.
The second Airplane movie is not great.
He was in that.
He was.
He
So
was.
is William Shatner.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Spy Hard was pretty abysmal.
And Dracula Dead and Loving It has one of the funniest scenes ever
Yes.
put to film,
But
but
it's one
the
of the
rest of it
worst
is terrible.
movies,
Yeah. The scene where they're in the crypt and they're stabbing Mia, and there's blood everywhere is
It just keeps coming
and it's
and
just
coming.
it's so
and coming.
funny.
And
Do you know
the
what I'm
actor,
talking about?
the actor had
Yeah.
no idea it was coming either.
Oh, that's a lot of blood.
I think he was in Scary Movie
The
3.
three. He's the
Yes.
president
He's
who's
the
third.
president,
one.
which is hilarious because he's supposed to spoof Bush, and I think there was that scene where, like, I think one of his security people come in, and it was supposed to mimic when George Bush had found the news about 9/11, and then he was like very quiet and subtle, and then they have to give him the news that there's an alien invasion from these little kids, and he was like, "There's aliens and everywhere and shit like that," and then they break into the White House, and then like Ja Rule's is a security guard officer, and then he was like, "My nipples are hard," and
Wait,
that's why
that was Ja Rule?
that was Ja Rule.
Wow.
I never knew that.
I know Firefest references today.
Yeah. You're all over it.
Apparently, the cultural zeitgeist focuses all on fire. By the way, if you have not seen, I think it's the Netflix one is the good one, the documentary on
They're
Firefest.
both good.
They're both good. I think the Netflix one is better, but like
The Netflix
dude,
one has the guy where what was his name? The guy who was running it.
Billy something or other.
Yeah.
He told one of the vendors was like, "You got to go suck this guy's guy's dick, basically.
Yes, there's that.
Netflix has that
and
one.
there's the one where they have like the boardroom scene and Ja Rule's there, and he's like, "How are we gonna fix this?" And there's like, there's no way.
Shut up, Ja.
That's right.
So here's the problem with Johnny English.
Right, what?
To bring us back on
What
track.
are we talking about?
Sorry.
Rowan
It's
Atkinson
not
is a
Firefest.
It's not Firefest.
not Fire-
That's the biggest problem. Blink 182 is not in this movie.
True.
It's trying to balance the two comic personas that Rowan Atkinson has. One of which is Mr. Bean, which we've referenced a couple times. The other is Edmund Blackadder in Blackadder, where he's the straight man. And everyone else is just reacting to what he's doing. This movie's trying to be both, and it doesn't work. Because Johnny English is trying to be Blackadder and be the smartest man in the room, but he's obviously not. And the slapstick kind of works, but at the same time, the way people react to it is just nonsensical.
I would disagree. I think all the slapstick does go. I mean, Johnny English is what I would be if I was a secret agent. And that's maybe that's why I'm in love with this movie, because I can relate to like just fucking shit.
You wouldn't be a secret agent very
I wouldn't
long.
be a good secret agent at all. But like
Much like Rowan Atkinson.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
No, just like not understanding like the scene where he has to go and meet M, and then he's trying to get his security clearance, and then the girl hands him like a chewed up pen. I was like, oh, I see a perfectly good pen here. I pick it up. He's like, oh, check this out. This reminds me of something back in the day. Clicks it twice. It ends up being some type of deadly paralyzing thing. That's some shit I would do because I don't know anything better, you know? Or just trying to be the smartest person in the room.
I was gonna say we should stop for just half a second because that scene is phenomenal.
Hilarious.
Where he like goes in, the secretary's like, Pegasus, is that his name? Pegasus is going to come see you just for a second. Can you sign this document to like whatever? And he's like, oh, I used to have a pen like this. It was standard issue back in the day. It had a little dart if you do this. And she's at she's making him a cup of tea, and he kills her presumably.
Knocks her out.
Yeah.
Well, but in the next scene, we see a bunch of people like hauling her corpse away.
Right,
Like,
and like he's having this meeting with Pegasus while the paramedics are trying to get her away, and then she comes back the next thing in a wheelchair, just looking at him on the back. I mean,
Now, when he knocks her out and Pegasus comes in, he's trying to cover it.
yeah,
That's how I knew where this movie was going. Because
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, but she's collapsed behind the
Right.
sofa, and Pegasus is walking through, and rather than let Pegasus see like her head or something that's peeking out from the sofa, without missing a beat, Mr. Bean like pivots,
Right.
and he moves like 45 degrees just by shuffling his feet. His upper body doesn't move at all.
Well,
and
even-
he's talking to Pegasus while he does this.
Well, even the beginning scene where he has to go to the office, he gets lost in this music montage. That's when I spit out milk, because that to me, yeah. And I love it, and I'm glad that he was able to put his little flavors into it. And like to your point, Daniel, he did have he was Mr. Beans in those moments where he was like they were I think where they were spying on him in the bathroom. He was making those like
was
noises
Mr.
and stuff. That was Mr. Beans, you know.
and he's hopping around.
There's plenty of Mr. Bean moments in this movie. It's just those personas are completely separate. I mean, he either needs to be the straight man or he needs to be the slapstick guy.
Well, I mean, it isn't all a terrible act, as it becomes clear constantly. Like, he really doesn't know anything. All the advice he gives people. Lorna Campbell, Imbruglia's character who works for Interpol, is, like, fascinated by him, but he is constantly wrong. I mean, the one
But he keeps succeeding, and I think that's why she's fascinated by him.
He doesn't keep
Succeeding.
succeeding. He's constantly
Fake it till you make
demeaned
it.
and
But
proven wrong, and his boss fires him.
He's on Savage as the culprit, and she's on him as well. And she's marveling at the fact that Johnny English figured this out
Right.
at the same time as she did.
See, I thought that was a joke about how no matter who the woman is, they're all horny for James Bond.
Oh, she's absolutely horny
for
for him
real.
for no
Yeah.
reason.
yeah,
for no reason.
exactly.
And I think she even, like, toward the end of it, she's like, I've had these urges for you.
Yes.
And I don't know how to do
that
it.
scene
and
in that bar in whatever's middle France.
That is one of the best scenes in the movie.
Small toys and soft cheeses.
She's like, what? What?
You're right. We shouldn't do it. You're right. No, wait.
I want to talk about John Malkovich.
You could write a paper on John Malkovich.
His accent is like, I can't do a good French
No,
accent.
you're
Maybe
doing
it
it.
is better.
You're much
It's better.
subtler than he is. He's like, I don't know what is going on with all of these Englishmen. And you're just like, where did you pick that one up, buddy?
Now I will say this: his scenes, like for an arrogant Frenchman, he was very good, and I found myself getting irrationally angry at some of his scenes, especially where like Pegasus was defending him to John English.
Yeah.
I just I cannot stomach a Frenchman succeeding.
That's right.
And this movie is all about that.
Well, I mean, it's funny because A, you're right, but B, Purvis and Wade clearly use that as shorthand. Like, who's going to be the most villainous? The French.
The French.
The French.
French.
And he has it like.
Well, they have that joke in there where it's Coronation Day and the radio announcer is saying, "All right, and today it's all about the French. So callers, call in and tell us what you love about the French. We still have no calls yet, but I'm sure it'll come through."
And he says the phone number in French.
00 French.
Yeah.
007.
Who's that?
00 set.
Who's that French dude that like drinks 14 bottles of wine a day?
Oh, Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah, what if he was in this movie?
He should have been in this movie.
He would have been
dude,
good.
he would have been funny, and you could have just left him drunk. Just don't tell him he's in a movie. He goes, "Why is everyone looking at me?" And you're just like,
I think he's in a wheelchair now, so that may not have
Dude,
worked.
this
At
was
the time.
17 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Because wasn't he in about this time that thing where he was a Frenchman who discovered he had a teenage daughter or late teenage
Oh, that was earlier than this, but you're
Was
talking
it?
about My Father the Hero.
My Father the Hero, yeah, and
Dude,
and
that movie.
everything like it's a comedy, but everything about it is about him being mistaken as a pervy old man for his young
Dude,
girlfriend.
and at one point, there's some dude who rejects her. So she's like, "Can you pretend to be my boyfriend?" And then you're just like, "He is 30 years older than you."
Well, the one thing I remember about this movie was like he goes to the piano and starts playing a song, and she's there, and they're on a cruise or something, and he's singing like, I love little girls, I love little girls. It's some French song, and everybody around them are like, "You are the creepiest of creepy men."
I still enjoy the fact that we finally get a movie where John Malkovich is a jewel thief.
You're gonna have to explain the joke, Daniel.
Yeah, I don't.
No.
Said it twice.
I don't get it. You're gonna have to narrow it down.
Being John Malkovich, everybody said he was in that Jewel Thief movie, and he wasn't at that point.
That's right.
At that point?
Being John
Okay,
Malkovich is an incredible movie.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
And that scene where it's John Cusack is in his brain and he has the dream of Malkovich and he's everyone, the waiter, the busty woman across the table. Like, that is a very funny scene.
Malkovich.
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 That's right. By the way, just thanks to Wikipedia, MI7 is real. It was the propaganda division in World War One, and it was recreated in World War Two. So this is British propaganda, as you'd expect. I will also add that A.A. Milne, the creator of Winnie the Pooh, was in MI7.
Oh.
And just full circle, William Davies, who plays the Archbishop of Canterbury, was in Christopher Robin.
Why am I getting like this notion, or I've heard some type of tale? Because I knew about the Christopher Robinson creator, whatever. He used to play Winnie the Pooh or whatever as like a what's it called? Like just to torture people or something like that.
Yeah, they did. And also, since you had me for history class, the story I would tell is during the Blitz, Winston Churchill would give a speech almost every night on the BBC, and it would be broadcast on Radio Free Europe, so you could hear it in Europe. And then, of course, Charles de Gaulle would come on to support the French. Okay. A couple times he was either busy or too drunk, and so the guy who was the voice
de Gaulle or Churchill?
Churchill.
Okay.
So the guy who was the voice of Winnie the Pooh would do a Churchill impersonation to give his speech.
Wait. Churchill was too drunk to give speeches?
Churchill was too drunk sometimes to find the toilet.
We will fight them in the 100-acre wood.
We will take him to Nottingham. We will fight that sheriff. No.
We shall fight them on the beaches. We shall fight them on the sea. Oh, bother.
I hear that Hitler has Hansel and Gretel. Like... That was all so bad, and it's wonderful.
Yes, everything about it.
Just going back to the movie, I honestly think they were just shitting on French people. To be honest with you, that's why
sure.
they probably
Oh, yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Because remember that scene where
You want to sell an English movie, you shit on some French people.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
English
Like,
hate the French.
like the scene where they're at the beginning of the where they're revealing the crown jewels or whatever. They're all they're all dressed. The waiters are dressed in white tuxedos or whatever like that. And I mean, by the way, I feel that way whenever we wear khakis and a navy shirt at Walmart. By the way, he's just no. I mean, for real, how many times I had to stop doing
Or
that
red
because-
shirt at Target.
I don't even wear red shirt or Target. To be honest
you
with you,
don't.
but
Don't. Yeah, don't.
I heard you can steal stuff if you do that, though. For real.
Oh, there you go.
No, there was that scene where Mr. Beans is just shit talking John Malkovich's character, and he's like, "They're only good for being waiters" and things like that. I can see why there wasn't a good French, and they got John Malkovich just to do bad French accent, maybe because I'm pretty sure he had a good one under his belt.
Who was the French Bond girl in The World Is Not Enough?
Sophie Marceau.
Yeah, her. Why wasn't she in this movie?
Too expensive,
Yeah, she has talent.
probably. Yeah, and talent. Yeah.
I mean, 100% of the money went to Rowan Atkinson and
John Malkovich.
I mean, even the dude, like his little buddy, Bao, is his name? right?
Boff.
Ben Miller. Like Ben Miller got a tuppence. Like he got nothing.
Well,
The
he
Baldric
was.
character of this movie. That's
Well,
who
exactly.
that is.
Like I even put in my notes, like, so this is like the Pink Panther, where you've got the incompetent superhero,
Right.
and the incredibly competent sidekick who keeps bailing out the hero.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, like I mean, think of like at the end of the frankly amazing car chase scene that we have yet to get to, where
we should tell the
Mr.
story.
English he follows the wrong hearse. He ends up at the funeral of this,
God, yes.
and he's saying, "You're all under arrest, and I've got you now. And look at this cleverly disguised casket. Those are real tears." And then Goff comes up and says, "Oh my goodness, you've mistaken this. It's the wrong person. You're mad. He's released him too early from the insane asylum."
What division was he at that point representing? Like the Institute for
For the
Rounding
criminally
Up
insane
criminally
or something.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was the NIH. Same diff. I mean, he's constantly bailing him out. Like they break into Sauvage's headquarters, and Johnny English picks the wrong building.
right.
He breaks into the hospital next door and holds everyone at gunpoint. And
That's
Goff is
insane.
there across the way waving, saying, "You got it wrong. Stop."
Well, and even at the end when they're all tied up, he follows them up the shit shaft and like frees them. And he goes, "Why did you go? There was a ladder in there."
Obviously, there was a ladder there, sir.
Well, even at the end of the hospital scene, after he's taken a whole bunch of doctors and nurses hostages, he's like, "This has been a test of your responses. You've done well. I will now leave." And then he goes into the right building.
Through the lobby.
Yeah.
He just takes the
Yeah,
elevator.
yeah. Screw that. No, I do want to talk about the chase scene.
That was a pretty, as far as epic London chase scenes.
Yeah.
Which I don't know many car chase scenes besides in Fast and Furious. This pretty
It was
holds
good.
up.
It was crowded scenes. Like there was traffic. Okay, so just really quick. After the crown jewels are taken, they move away. Like if you've ever been to the Tower of London, they're in this kind of weird cylindrical thing, and that's what they are. They're on display.
Those are called roundabouts.
Thank you, Daniel. They move it away, and underneath they find a tunnel. So English and Bose go down the tunnel, and they essentially follow it for about 30 minutes. Then they come up through this passageway into a warehouse where they see two dudes shoving the crown jewels into bags to put in the back of a
hearse.
coffin
Yep.
in a hearse. Of course, Johnny English had not loaded his gun properly.
Which is a running joke. Running joke. He doesn't actually fire a shot.
He never fires a shot.
His gun keeps misfiring.
Which, you know what, I would guess is a Rowan Atkinson. Like,
Probably,
Because,
yeah.
I mean, either way, whether you're Blackadder or Mr. Bean is kind of a kid show in a lot of ways. In that
And it's actually very English. That not just Johnny English, but like think of the British heroes like Doctor Who or whoever. Like they're always fighting down space Nazis or whatever. They never fire a shot.
don't
They
fire a
never
shot.
hold
Oh,
a
wow.
gun.
The only one who does is James Bond, which
Yeah.
is why he is distinct.
The British don't like guns
Yeah,
generally.
you stab
So-
people, but yeah, I
Well,
get
yeah, I
this
mean,
point.
yeah.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you were going to kill someone in Victorian England, it's with a knife, not a gun.
true.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
But like,
As
and,
true
like,
gentlemen do.
he pulls the trigger, the clip falls out. I
Or
think
the
his-
gun falls apart.
The gun
I think
falls
of that
apart.
one scene.
Because he was reassembling the gun and the trigger wasn't there one time.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's a funny bit. It's
Yeah.
a good. But one way or
Or
another.
he fired the gun and then poo came out.
Oh god, that was a joke. Wow. Anyway, so the guys who I said should have been in a Guy Ritchie movie hop in the hearse and get away like it is a Britcom or some sort. They're driving through the street. Johnny English sees a beautiful Aston Martin.
Well, that's his Aston
his-
Martin.
that's his.
Is
That
it-
he parked in front of a no
parking.
tow zone. Yeah.
And so they steal the tow truck.
It is actually Rowan Atkinson's Aston Martin.
Right.
Yeah.
He is
yeah.
a supercar dude. I
Yeah,
think
he
he
is.
wrecked one in 2011.
Probably, yeah.
He's got enough money. He's got Seinfeld money where he's got like an air hangar full of
Oh, sure.
cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Britain's Jay Leno. I've said that the whole time.
Really?
It's very true. It's very true.
I got a car.
I mean, but they're having this chase with the fancy sports car in the tow truck.
Yes.
And he gets in the car and has Goff swing him out on the crane and
Yeah.
repeatedly try to lower him onto the ground. And one of the few like laugh out loud moments I had was when he did it. And they finally let the car down, and he's ready to go, and he's on the trailer of another car.
That's right.
And they drive off the wrong way.
It's funny. It's
a
really
funny
funny.
bit.
Yeah.
Another funny bit of that is when he gets his picture taken during the traffic light.
Yeah.
And then the only time, one of the few times they have these gadgets is not to get the bad guys, but just to blow up the actual streetlight camera.
He shoots a missile at it.
I
yeah.
know, right? You couldn't do that for the bad guys in the hearse.
And then he like grins when he does it.
Well, it was such a
Yeah.
convincing joke. I had to look up if he like famously got a speeding ticket. Like,
Yeah.
like he was going down the M5 or something and got a speeding ticket. Like just because that joke seems so like Rowan's like I've got one.
Well, you know that was written probably for the British audience who just hates those traffic cameras.
Well, I mean, Rowan Atkinson didn't need an American audience, like, ever.
I feel like this movie did. This movie really needed an American audience.
This
John
movie needed
Malkovich.
any audience. It found it. I mean, I have no complaints. This will end up back in rotation somewhere. But like, this movie is all schmaltz. It's so funny. Like, there's
I didn't look up whether or not this actually made back its money or did well,
I would
but
guess
it
it
did
did.
well enough. It's got
No.
2 sequels.
a decade later.
Well, yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if it made its money back in Europe, but in the U.S. it probably didn't.
With
Yeah.
a budget
Do well.
of 40 million, the box office numbers were $160.5
Yeah,
that's pretty
million
good.
dollars.
I think that's
Yeah.
a success.
And then the second one came out, I think, in 2011. The third one came out like
Right.
2018. Like there was one that was not that long ago.
I haven't seen the third one.
I did see the like movie posters for the 3, and he gets like progressively older. Oh my
Good.
god!
I mean, is that a first one?
I mean, yeah, it's like
You mean
30
like
years in
all of us
between, but
do?
still, yeah, but like he is noticeably older.
Again,
no
like-
airbrushing in there.
Like all of us are.
He's
Yeah.
only like 66 right now.
Well, and the first
yeah.
one came out, it was like 45,
Yeah.
46.
Yeah.
So how old was he when he was doing Mr. Beans?
I mean, it was the 80s, so he was probably in his
30s,
20s, 30s.
yeah.
80s and
Blackadder
90s.
was old.
Wow, and he looked.
Blackadder, I think, started in the 70s.
He always looked just awkward. It's hard to differentiate the awkward from just being old.
Well, I will also say, like, that's something I do love about, like, BBC comedies, where it's like, it can just be one dude with one idea, and he gets 5 episodes, and it either works or it doesn't.
Yep.
And then if it does, you can do 5 seasons, and at the end of 5 seasons, you literally have 20 episodes. And that's kind of what Mr. Bean was. That's what Blackadder was. I mean, like, I've seen every episode of
Fawlty
it.
Towers.
It has 7 seasons. And, series, they're British. But at the end of 7 series, there's maybe, like, if you're binging it, 2 days of content.
The second series of Blackadder was the best one. That's the one with Lizzie.
Yeah.
I am impartial to the World War I series. The one
Oh,
where
yes.
Blackadder, we actually see him like it's actually a tragic end at the end of that World War
Yep.
I one.
Yep.
They all die.
Spoilers.
It's
It's a show that's like at this point 20 years old.
I mean,
That's true.
if you can find these BBC shows, like they'll occasionally end up on Amazon or Netflix. When they're on, grab them
Yeah.
because they're hard to find. Like the original IG crowd. Like, whenever I want to scratch that itch, there's only a 30% shot it's available. So see it when you can. Same thing with, I've been rewatching it lately, so I'm going to plug it. But a bit of Fry and Laurie with Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry, and that Mitchell and Webb look, if you can find it. Also, just Sir Digby Chicken Caesar is the funniest thing that has ever been done ever.
Who were also
And
Fry and Laurie were in Blackadder.
Yes, they were.
Stephen Fry was in Series 2 because we're talking about England, and Laurie was in Series 3 along with Fry.
Yeah.
And they were also in classic British show, which has been remade several times, but Eves and Euster? Jeeves and Euster.
Jeeves and Euster.
Yes,
Yeah.
which are very good. But there's completely out of left field. But there's a Facebook group I'm in where people just take pictures of food and ask if it's Flavortown. Like Guy Fieri's Flavortown. Like, they're like, is this Flavortown? And it reminds me of a bit of Fry and Laurie, or that Mitchell Webb look where they do a number wang, where they're just random things, and sometimes it's a number wang, and that's what this is. Is this Flavortown? My brain is done.
Your brain works in mysterious ways.
It moves in mysterious ways. Na, na, na. All right. You have notes? You actually fucking
I have
pay.
notes, yes, but
You have a whole book full of notes.
well, because
We'll auction it off at the end of the season.
Here's the
Yes.
thing: I am horrible with actors' names, characters, anything like that.
So I just wing it. It's
Right.
cool.
If you go in past episodes, you're like, oh, come on, Nor. Because every time I give the plot synopsis, they're like, oh, who's the dude? Yeah, that the dude.
Yeah.
So I have notes just for simply in all the funny moments. Literally, like I said, no parking zone for the Aston Martin. Just reminded me back in college, I used to park not where I was supposed to park, and then I in college I got towed twice, booted 8 times.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And then, well, this is the most bizarre scene to me that I didn't. So the Archbishop is the only person who can officially crown someone into the royalty, right?
It's part of the ceremony. Yeah.
Right. So we've seen the end of the movie stuff. What happened to the guy that had the tattoo that says "Jesus is coming"? Look busy.
Well,
We
they
don't
abandoned the plan to replace the Archbishop of Canterbury,
Because they think English has seen the fake Archbishop.
which he had at that point.
Which he had, but they realized
He'd
it.
seen that man's tattooed ass.
we can infer that, but did they say it in the film that they abandoned that plot?
Yes.
Yes,
Did they?
yes, they
Oh,
did.
dude, but the problem with this script is that they just fly past things.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's
I missed
why they
that.
get Lizzie to abdicate so that John Malkovich can be coronated for real.
Lizzie?
Yeah, Lizzie.
Yeah, Lizzie.
Lizzie.
You're on first name basis with the Queen?
Absolutely.
Of course.
I was going to say, who are you talking about? Just talking about the Queen. But no, and then so actually, can we?
Do it.
We're not skipping over, but of course they had the scene where they had to go down to John Malkovich's character's facility where they have to actually, get his plans or things like that, or just, anyways, after they figure out. This is the part of the movie that actually pisses me off. And well, this is a part of any type of cinema that pisses me off. Once the protagonist finds out the plans, and then M or whoever Pegasus wants to say you're off the case, but he can literally just say a couple words, and the movie could have ended right there. It's arrest him. That's the part of the movie that
Here's
pisses me off.
Interpol. She backs me up.
Right.
Yeah.
Interpol. Literally Interpol.
Yeah.
No, they don't say any of that.
No, and that's, I guess, the only part of the movie that pissed me off is like you could have just said a couple
Yeah.
words instead of making him fired. So
Well, and we should say, like, he literally has his evil plan on a DVD, and
Oh, he sure
and
does.
he grabs, and Mr. Bean grabs the wrong DVD, and it's just him singing in the shower for 7.5 minutes.
good scene.
Why does that work at the end? Because the entire time he's embarrassing himself. He pulls down the Archbishop of Canterbury's pants, and there's no tattoo. He shows the wrong DVD, and then at the last minute, he accidentally gets crowned king.
So what
and
happens-
suddenly everyone's on his side. Why?
Well, because they hate the French. You have to
okay.
remember the English shortcut.
And well, think about what he did, what John Malkovich did right before then.
Yeah,
he
he was-
flipped out. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
why
He
can't
was
you?
firing
You
at
guys
the
all,
Fragrant French.
you all had to just wait in line, and things would be fine. And if there's one thing the English don't like, it's emotional outbursts.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yep,
Stiff upper lip.
Exactly.
this is true.
Now, whether that
Unless
was
it comes
enough
to
to
the
say, like,
Scots.
oh, this guy happened to be crowned, so we should immediately obey him, even though he's been messing this whole thing up the entire time.
Now, of course, if someone from Ireland was crowned king, there would be a riot.
Well,
In Ireland.
everywhere, and the Scots are about to leave. SNP just stole every seat, I think,
Oh,
in
did
the
they?
Scottish Parliament. Oh yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, that was...
Well, I will say this makes the movie very prescient because at one point Malkovich is like, "You're an island that has lost your entire empire. You don't matter anymore." Like, and he really just tears into
And then Brexit.
and then Brexit.
Oh, snap.
Savage
There you go.
So this is reality coming true. Okay, all right, yeah, I get it.
Oh,
Okay.
that's funny.
Just speaking of it, how do you renounce? Obviously, we know the end of the movie where he actually becomes king, but how do you not become king?
Well, I mean, the
You
abdication.
can abdicate.
Yeah, the abdication crisis in the 30s. It was
Is it? Yeah.
Edward the Sixth,
Seventh.
Seventh. Okay.
But he wanted to marry a divorcee American, and they're like, what? And
And then Harry did, and they're like, okay.
Who I believe was the owner of a car dealership in the
Yeah.
U.S.
and
That's how they get you.
if you want to see a dramatic version of that, that's fine. See the King's Speech because that's kind of what
Yes,
it's about.
that is good.
You
The,
don't
the
need to
Crown
see
is
the
also
King's
good.
Speech.
Yeah.
That's
The
fine.
King's Speech is fine.
Oh, so it's
yeah.
a good
It's
little touching.
very
fine.
good. It's very good.
What? That didn't cry?
Oh, dude, I got emotionally invested. I'm not complaining. I just said it's not the best movie of the year.
He
It's
does a
fine. It's
fantastic
good.
job
Did he get an Academy Award for that movie?
because he
He did.
creates a stutter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it is a very believable stutter.
Yeah.
He's good in it. He's
Yeah,
very good.
He's very good.
He
He's
smoked
good
a
actor.
lot of cigarettes in that movie. I just
Probably,
realized
yeah.
this
It was
now.
the 30s.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. That's
Guy
true.
Pearce was the king who abdicated, right?
Yeah.
With the help and support of the woman I love.
Yeah.
Lasted like 10 minutes and
Yeah.
anyway,
Where were
you
we?
guys
The poop shoot scene. What?
go
Oh, yeah.
ahead, poop shoot,
They break into Mont Saint Michel,
which is a real castle.
which is a real castle,
Apparently, everybody in that castle likes to shit around each other.
all at the
Dude,
same time.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, no.
It's like a Turkish bath.
Well, here's the thing. I have a fear of public restrooms. Like,
And it's this. It's literally
this
this.
is it.
This is the
Yeah.
part where this is the scariest part of the movie for me, where I saw toilet seats just next to each other, and
Not in a stall, just in a room with toilet
Yeah.
seats.
just
20
yeah,
odd
like
seats.
porta potties is my nightmare. That scene from Jackass 3 where Steve-O is just going up and down. But no,
This elevator only goes to the basement.
Someone made an awful mess down there.
so no, that actually got me thinking about actual castles and how I saw a meme the other day.
Oh, God.
Where no, they was like, but this is how people shat back in the day, where they literally people had to just shovel from the end of the castle and just went over.
Yeah.
You had a poop smith.
The poops. Oh, there we go. But you would think in 2003 they would still cement that up.
They have a
But
pipe.
he's French.
Well, I mean,
French.
if that didn't exist, then that joke of Johnny English getting covered in poo wouldn't exist.
That's true.
Didn't they even make a sound effect of a toilet flushing?
They did. So
did.
Pulled
This made no
pulled a
sense.
chain.
Yeah.
Johnny
I mean, it could have
English.
been just a group pull, and there's only one chain that you pull, and everything just goes down all at once.
Down the poop.
Down
Speaking of
down
which,
the poop chute.
John Nick, it's a little overdue for our group poop.
That's right.
It is.
I'm sorry, what y'all doing?
We'll be back for part 2 here in a minute.
Wait,
Johnny
what?
English crawled through that pile of shit for a quarter mile to freedom.
Just shy of half a
A cleansing rain came over Johnny English.
Why didn't he take the ladder?
Didn't see it.
Shawshank Redemption. Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Also,
that was
how
cool.
would a simple shower completely eliminate
it
that
won't.
smell?
She shoves him into a shower. That's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, we've talked about the whole movie at this point, out of order, but we've talked about the whole thing.
Yeah, there's not much else to say.
Yeah, I mean,
We can wrap it up.
oof.
Yeah, that's about. Oh, and then let's talk about the end sequence.
Oh, please,
just
yeah.
briefly. So they save the world. Malkovich is hauled off. I'm assuming they actually find evidence that he was doing something.
He's only hauled off because English is king.
But then
tells
English
him to.
renounce it and gives it back to the Queen,
Okay.
who somehow shows up again. It ties it up awfully quick.
Yeah.
It doesn't really explain a lot, like where did the Queen come from and where did Malkovich go? Presumably to one of his prisons. But we have the typical Bond end sequence where he's driving in the south of France in his awfully fancy car with Natalie Imbruglia. Don't we all wish we were there? And they're about to, seal the deal. They're about to make out. He does the typical Bond thing. He presses the button and champagne comes out of the dashboard.
Yeah.
Nice, suave, okay. Everything's going cool. He leans in. His elbow hits the eject button.
Boom.
She goes flying out of the car.
That shit would happen to me.
Yeah.
Because I would have a boner, and then my boner would hit the eject button, and then boom, that's it.
Wouldn't be the first time a girl fled the car awfully quick.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And scene. But then she comes down in the credits in a pool where I guess everybody is relaxing behind it. And then the guy with the
orange reddish
hair, the scars on two sides, he's reading a paper by the pool, and he just kind of looks at her and grins or something. End scene. That's it. That's the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a thing. So what did we all think about it? Daniel?
I really did not like this movie rewatching it. Like Rowan Atkinson.
We know you don't like good things, so carry on.
Rowan Atkinson is a comedy god. I mean, I'm not going to deny that, but this just was not a good idea for him. And in terms of how I reacted to it, I'll just say this. This is how I feel. I'm cold and I am shamed, lying naked on the floor.
Okay.
Illusions never changed into something real. God damn you, Johnny English. I'm wide awake and I can see the perfect sky is torn. You're a little late. I'm already torn. Fuck you, whoever made this movie.
There's a lot there.
Those are largely the lyrics of Torn.
Mostly.
Sung by Natalie Imbruglia.
Yes.
Not written by her. It is a cover,
Of,
which blew my mind when I found that out.
Eminem song.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I feel like I only disagree with you guys, but I really enjoyed the movie as a sense that it's a change of pace for a lot of things out now. It's kind of hard to find a good comedy as far as a silly comedy that doesn't take itself seriously, but also takes itself seriously at the same time. I was giggling from the very beginning to the end of the movie, and I honestly did enjoy this, and I can rewatch this over and over again. I've seen the second one, but I haven't seen the third one. It is probably not going to be that good because it came out a couple years ago. But as far as this first John English movie, I enjoyed it.
I thought it was fine. Like, I'm with you. Like, this is one that I can see just throwing back on. Like, I'm not saying it's an all-time great comedy, but I thought it was funny. Like, occasionally I realize that the only thing holding this movie together tenuously is Rowan Atkinson, like, bravely struggling against the movie. But no, I totally thought this was rewatchable. It was fine. Like, yeah, like in the way that I just throw on an Airplane or Naked Gun or one of the early Austin Powers movies. Totally fine.
I have to agree that I had never seen this before, and I largely enjoyed it. It was, if this was on in the background, or even if it was just on and I happened to be having a few minutes free, I would probably watch it. It had a style to it that, like, Austin Powers did not. Like, it felt like a real Bond film, just with a slapstick kind of bent to it. Rowan Atkinson definitely held it together, and I enjoyed it. Malkovich was a weird choice, but he's still a good actor. He's just in weird roles, which, whatever, that's just him. Yeah, it was fine. It was good. We'll see the next one at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, let's just stay tuned.
Yeah. So until then, thank you for listening to Mission Briefing, and we will catch you next time. Good night.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Myopia Movies is produced by Nick Hoffman and Daniel Settis. It is hosted by Nick Hoffman and Daniel Settis. Mission Briefing is hosted by John Copsey. Podcasts are edited by Daniel Settis, and Patreon is edited by Nick Hoffman. Our engineer is Nick Hoffman. The theme song is Surf Shimmy by Kevin MacLeod from Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license.
Myopia Movies is a podcast production of Dude Letter Podcasting and is produced by Nick Hoffman. It is edited by Nerd Trinette and Daniel Suttis and is hosted by Nick Hoffman, with production assistance by Matthew Quinn, Daniel Suttis, and Nerd Trinette. The theme song is Surf Shimmy by Kevin MacLeod from Incomptech.com. Licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 4 license, Creative Commons /licenses by /4.0. Thanks.